Hey everyone, and welcome to this inaugural ChetChat's Masterclass. We're going to do an entire series, so please subscribe to the channel and interact with me in the comment section right under this video and also at Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at ChetChat101, and share this masterclass with your friends and family. As you know, I like to reply to each one of you personally, so keep writing in. Now this masterclass is about the cost of studying in the United States of America for an international student. And we're going to talk about four main aspects out here. The first is the undergraduate tuition fee. The second, I'm going to give you a listing of the cheapest to the most expensive universities in the US. 3, we're going to talk about public universities versus private universities. And the fourth aspect of this class will be, what does all this mean for me? In Indian rupees, what is the cost per course? What is the effective cost per hour? And all of that. So let's talk about the basics first. In this video, we are only going to cover the undergraduate tuition fee component. We will do subsequent videos where we'll talk about the cheapest or most expensive MBA, law or medicine degrees. We'll talk about scholarships, financial aid, cost of living. I'll also give you tips on how to save cost and how to earn money. But all that is going to come up in the future classes. This video is concentrating entirely on undergraduate tuition fee. Now, why is that important? Because about 70% of your total cost is the tuition fee component. So once we've got this covered, we know roughly where we are going with the cost. The second thing I want you to keep in mind is that certain universities escalate the costs from year to year. So the cost numbers that I'm going to give you in this video today are roughly around 2017, 2018 numbers. So check carefully when you're applying to the university. Also, I want you to be very careful when you're applying to make sure you're choosing universities which have fixed costs versus those that have escalating costs. So be careful of the fine print. The third thing I want you to bear in mind is that we will be naming certain colleges and universities today, but by no means are we recommending any of them in the program today. This class is all about costs. We are not really recommending any universities today. But on what basis have we chosen these universities that we are going to be talking about today? We've picked the list of the most popular universities that international students usually pick when they go to the United States. And in no way is this meant to be an exhaustive list because, as you know, the United States has 4,500 degree granting universities and institutions, so there's no way I can cover all of them. I may have left out your favorite university or college, so please excuse me for that. And there's a last thing I want to say is that we have covered in this masterclass 4-year 120 credit undergraduate courses. There are also cheaper 2-year community college undergraduate courses available, but we've not talking about that in this masterclass because international students usually don't pick those courses. Okay, so here goes. The cheapest universities in the US in terms of tuition fee per annum in dollars. The first list is between $20,000 to $30,000 per annum, and the names are University of Buffalo Sunny, State University of New York, Binghamton, New York, Stony Brook University, Iowa State University, University of Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, University of North Dakota, University of Colorado, Denver, Arizona State University, University of Utah, University of Florida, Florida State University, and Ohio State University. Now, as you notice and look at this list, did you notice the word state coming in quite often in the names of the universities? Yes, you guessed them right. The cheapest universities in the US tend to be public universities. Now, what are public universities? As the name suggests, they are funded by the state funds versus the private universities which are funded by self-owned sources. Now, state universities tend to be cheaper, but they have 2 kinds of tuition fee, and I want you to look out for them when you open the website. There is an in-state tuition fee, which is meant for children whose parents live in that state and pay taxes in that state. Now, that is really very cheap. But talking about international students, there is a second column usually in their website which talks about out-of-state tuition. This is the column that we need to read because this out-of-state tuition is the one that is applicable to international students as well as to American citizens that live outside the state. Now you must be wondering, how do I find out which one is a public university and which one is not? Now there are two ways of going about this. One, the more obvious one, the name state appears in the name. For example, Ohio State University, Florida State University, Michigan State University, and that's really easy. But there are certain state universities that do not carry the name. For example, University of Washington, Seattle, University of Wisconsin, Madison are also state universities but do not carry the word state. So I suggest open the website, look at the About section of that college, and almost in the first or the second line you will find a mention there that this is a state-funded university. Now, having put that aside, let's look at the second list, which is universities that have tuition fee between $30,000 and $40,000. And some of the names that I'm going to take today are Purdue University, Georgia Institute of Technology, also known as Georgia Tech, Texas A&M University, University of Illinois, University of Wisconsin-Madison, University of Texas at Austin, Penn State University, and University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Now at this point, I also want to tell you to be very careful about names that are confusing. For example, there is a Michigan State University and there is a University of Michigan. There is a Florida State University and there is a University of Florida. There is a Cornell College and there is a Cornell University. There is a Berkeley College. There's a University of California, Berkeley, and there's also Berkeley College of Music. So please be very careful when you're picking up the names and listening to the names that I'm giving to you in this episode. Now let's look at a third list, which is the tuition fee between $40,000 and $50,000 per annum. And this is a mixed list. You'll find some very high-end private schools mixed with some very expensive state schools. So let me take you through a short list of the colleges that have this tuition fee bracket. Harvard University, MIT, Stanford University, Columbia University, Illinois Institute of Technology, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, University of California, Berkeley, University of California, San Diego, Michigan State University, University of California, Los Angeles, also known as UCLA, and University of Washington, Seattle. So as you saw, the mix between the private and the public universities in this bracket of $40,000 to $50,000 per annum tuition fee only. I'm repeating, we are not talking about cost of living right now. And now let's look at the most expensive schools in the US. Typically tuition fees of $50,000 and above per annum for the 4-year program, and here's the list. University of Pennsylvania, also called UPenn, Cornell University, Johns Hopkins University, Carnegie Mellon University, Boston University, New York University, University of Southern California, and Duke University. A general rule of thumb, however, to keep in mind is that sometimes the most expensive universities are the most generous when it comes to financial aid. But we will talk about scholarship and financial aid later, but I want you to keep this in mind so you don't worry too much about the sticker price at some of the more expensive private universities. Another thing that we want to keep in mind is that this tuition fee is a general number that I've given you for the 4-year program, but it also changes depending on which classes and which courses you pick. So typically, if you pick design, music, management, law, or medicine related courses at the undergraduate level, yes, I know most of these tend to be postgraduate courses, but if you pick some of these courses at an undergraduate level, your tuition fee could rise because these courses are more expensive than the arts and science courses available typically at an undergraduate college. Now coming to the last section of this masterclass, we're going to do some number crunching. We're going to analyze what exactly do all these numbers mean to us. Now the tuition fee, as we saw, could range from $20,000 per annum to $50,000 per annum. If I extend this over a 4-year program, it becomes $80,000 all the way up to $200,000. Now, if I convert this into Indian rupees, and I've taken roughly a 63 rupees to a dollar number, this comes to anything between 50 lakhs at the lower end to 1.25 crores at the upper end. Now, this is only tuition fee, like I said. We haven't taken into account cost of living, but just as a ballpark, typically cost of living ranges between $20,000 per annum to $30,000 per annum. And the rule of thumb is the cheaper the college is with the tuition fee, the cheaper typically is the cost of living, and vice versa. So if I look at cost of living, it's $20,000 per annum into 4, $80,000 at the lower end, and $30,000 into 4, which is $120,000 at the upper end. So if I try to add these two numbers, at the lower end, I've got an $80,000 tuition and an $80,000 cost of living. $160,000 is probably my lowest cost of staying in the US for a 4-year undergraduate program. At the upper end, I had $200,000 tuition and $120,000 cost of living. That's $320,000. Now, what does it mean in Indian rupees? So it could be anything from 1 crore at the lower end to 2 crores at the upper end. And that's the reason I'm doing this video for you, to tell you that if you choose your college correctly, you could halve the money that you pay in that 4-year span of time. So now let's look at this number and understand further what does it mean for us. I said to you, remember, it's a 4-year 120 credit program that we are looking at. So a 120 credit program is typically 40 courses because each course is typically a 3 credit course. Now 40 courses over 4 years means you do 10 courses per year. Each year is divided into 2 semesters, so your workload is about 5 courses per semester. Now that's workload. Coming to cost. If you're doing 40 courses, let's take the upper end. You had an upper end tuition fee of $200,000. Again, I'm keeping the cost of living aside for the moment. Now, $200,000, if I break that up into 40 courses, my cost of doing each individual course is $5,000. Now, that at 63 is about 3.15 lakh of rupees. Now, I do understand US offers you the flexibility to choose your courses the way you want to pick up whichever area you're interested in, but I just want you to keep in mind that every single course that you pick costs you 3.15 lakhs. So be very careful. You've got 40 courses, choose them wisely. So let's drill down a little more. Each course typically has 45 to 48 contact hours. Let's make that 50. Now, if it's 50 contact hours and each course was costing me $5,000, every hour is costing me $100. So every time you miss a class, you know what you're paying? 6,300 rupees. So that's the end of the masterclass for today. Thank you for watching till the end, and stay tuned because we are following this up very quickly with the cost of doing a postgraduate degree, cost of living, scholarship, financial aid, tips to save cost, and also how to earn while studying in the US, as also all of this for all the other countries that are important to you. So keep watching, subscribe to me at ChetChat, and follow me at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ChetChat101. And happy watching!